So I decided to see and take off the driver's front first, just to see what we got going on, just to make sure we have the right speaker. After this one, we're gonna do the radio and do the bypass deal on it, run the RCAs for the amp and sub. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to see first what needs to be done in here and show you what that looks like afterwards. So the first step was to pop this off. There will be a notch right here. Just stick a little flathead on it and kind of push it down, and then this whole thing just pops off. After that, there will be a Phillips screw right here, and also going to be one right here. And it looks like we have to take this one off, and possibly, yeah, that's for the speaker. But looks like this is the only thing that's holding it. And for the controls, everything just kind of pops off, as you can see right here. You just release two locking tabs on both sides, so basically just kind of pull it towards away from the clip, and this whole thing would pop off. This is what it looks like as well. But other than that, like I said, take the screw out, and then we'll see what needs to be done after that. Before you start taking or pulling the panel off, like I said, you have to take this off. And there is also a hidden screw down here, and so far that's the only thing that I see. Almost missed that one, so be careful not to just keep prying everything off. But other than that, take that off, and then everything should just slide up. I've got the first speaker mounted here. As you can see, I used new screws, that way it'll hold it a lot tighter. I might have to figure out this way. This is all factory, so I might put a little bit of spacer in there, or maybe just tighten it actually. So, but overall, it's pretty easy install. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the passenger side. Same exact process. For this particular setup or instructions, we are going to remove this panel right here. At times, I think the only way to get this radio off is like there's locking clips on the side. So I'm gonna try to remove it from the bottom, and hopefully it just releases, because I need to access the back of it. So let's go ahead and check it out, and hopefully it comes off easy. So this one is just being held by pretty much nothing but clips. One plug here and a dummy plug right there. So I just release both of those and just kind of put this aside for now, as you will not need it. If you put it on the floor or on the floor in the seat area, make sure you don't step on it, just in case. But like I said, I'm gonna try to figure out how to remove this thing without taking too much off, and hopefully that radio just release. And I'm not really sure how it's even held in there currently, so I'm gonna go ahead and figure it out and hope for the best. So it looks like we do have to take off this whole trim off. The little piece right here just pops off as well. Have a little wedge remover just from the bottom, and it just pops off. Two plugs right here, and there will be two 7 mils right here, and one here, there, and there, and this whole thing should just pop off. And we can see how it's even held in there, or how it's installed. Like I said, we do have to run the RCAs anyway, so it has to come off one way or another. So this is what we got going on. It looks like obviously it's an oversized radio, and judging from how it looks, it's a pretty tight setup in there, so I'm not going to remove anything. I'm just going to mess with the bypass and run the RCAs and do what I need to do, and pretty much just kind of leave this thing here. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and install the video brake bypass deal, and like I said, I'll just leave it alone and not even unplug anything, so that way I can just kind of put everything back just the same way. So we got the passenger side prepping for the install. Got the Hertz 6x8s getting ready to go in. Already got the terminals kind of shortened a little bit, that way it just kind of sits right here and not dangling around and possibly touch the glass. But let's go ahead and install this and button everything back up. So as we get to the rear speakers. To get these seats off, we are going to remove the seat belts, which is also overlapping to the bracket of the actual seat, or the back seat part. So that's going to be a 19 millimeter. Go ahead and take both sides. The bottom part, all it does is kind of hook onto here, so you can pretty much just basically just pull it all up and put some tension on it. It'll slip on right here and just pop off. So there's no bolts or anything like that. And let's get to that part. So you can pretty much just lean the back seat part from the front seat. You don't physically need to remove it because we're going to be running the amp wires to the side right here. So that's really all the room you need. And to get these speakers off, like I said, you don't really need to take it off. So we're going to be working around it. And let's go ahead and start removing these panels, both sides right there. And this part, get these speakers out. You're going to be starting off by taking off these clips right here. You're going to need a clip tool removal similar to this. All you do is pretty much put it under, put some pressure on it, and it just pops off. Just kind of getting the rear speakers ready. We still need to take off this panel right here so we can access the speakers themselves. So I can see a little bit of it, but go ahead and take this off. And yeah, both sides needs to come off. Looks like already somebody tried to attempt to take it off. You can tell from both sides that an attempt, I believe that's where the clips are behind this, so you can just see the stress point. I mean, I can try to not take it off, so, but we'll see how it goes. So I was able to remove the grill. All it is just kind of bending that a little bit back, and the whole thing would just pop off. 4 screws. We got the speaker adapter pretty much ready to go. Plug in, mount the speakers, and put everything back. So the rears are actually a lot easier. You don't have to take this off. Like I said, I'm just using the box just to kind of wedge it a little bit. But now that the grill is pretty much off, then we don't really need to wedge it. So, but we do need to wedge it when we put this thing back, as you need to bend this back from under. So, but the rear speakers are actually not as hard as I thought. Some of the videos that I've seen, you have to take this off, this and that, then you can risk of damaging this. So this kind of helps it a little bit better. So, but yeah, go ahead and plug everything in, mount the speaker, test it. Both speakers are mounted. It was a little bit easier than I pretty much expected. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the amp and sub. To access the grommet for the power wire, it'll be right here. You do have to take this off. There is a clip that you squeeze in from under, and then you have 2 of these big clip deals that go right here and right there. Just pop those off, put it aside, and you do have to unplug the cigarette lighter and take off the footwell light. But other than that, that's pretty much all you need to take off as far as that. And we're going to try to figure out how to get the wire inside that grommet right there. Alright, we got the Stinger kit. Let's go ahead and take everything out, run the power, and pretty much get this amp and sub done. So I'm getting the RCA and remote wire prepped and ran. What I use is a big zip tie right here. It's already coming on down there. You're going to tape the RCA and the remote wire down there, pull it up. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of routed from there. It goes all the way to the bottom into there. So go ahead and get that ran, show you what that looks like when it's done. So continuing on with the power and the RCA, I've got the RCA kind of zip tied along the harness going down. The power wire right here. I'm still cleaning everything up. What I did was basically run the power wire in this channel right here all the way to the back, and then the RCA on the other channel, so they're not physically next to each other, like that way nobody would say anything about it. These are pretty good RCA, shielded and things like that, so you shouldn't have any problem with noises and things like that. So I went ahead and ran it all the way to the back. and go from there. So I'm continually running the power wire and the RCA for the amp and sub. You might be asking why I put some duct tape in here. All I'm basically doing is to make sure that when I put the seats back, they stay in place and not move around, because eventually once you put all the seats back and then some of these move, you might end up like getting close right here and get pinched and things like that. So that's why I put just a temporary tape. So when I put the seats back, everything stays in place when the seats are back. So continually on, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, and we should be getting close to being done. Conveniently enough, there's a ground right here, so we will use that as a ground point. You do have to sand it a little bit, take off most of the paint underneath, that way it's gonna make good ground contact. So let's go ahead and do that. So the Hertz power sub will come with these 4 legs that you do have to transfer it over, just in case you do put it in the trunk and you don't want it sliding around. It'll come with 4 Allen head type screws, and what you basically have to do is, obviously per instruction, pop off the little threaded covers, and that's where you're basically installing these legs. This does have the grip so it doesn't slide around, so go ahead and do that. And we'll be moving on to mounting and pretty much splicing the wires that we need to the block. Got everything installed. As you can see, everything is secured. All the wires are neatly tucked in, nothing hanging, nothing loose. So overall, it sounds pretty good for a powered sub. I do like that it's not too much and it's not too little. So overall, it sounds pretty good, and obviously it's made by Hertz, so you know the quality is there.